All right, this is Mike Long. We are coming to you live from Club Cotton. Let's start with the Lord's Prayer and we'll go from there. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right, we are getting started. I am here with Liz Herrera. Liz?
What's up, guys? How are you?
And we are waiting. I just sent John Gill a link to come on in and join. Liz is texting with him right now. We have people signing in quickly. This is our Amazon Q&A webinar. It's this is Saturday the something of I guess like the 20th of June. And we've actually been out since the early morning in the field. Actually, I think I got a post here from. Well, first of all, there's, Cotton's big assimilations going to be coming up, so we'll get Cotton to come in and talk about this. But this is actually a post that Cotton put up 2 hours ago, and this is me and Liz. We are actually there's some controversy as to where this was going on. A lot of comments, a lot of conjecture as to what might be going on there, Liz. Somebody said that we might be in the Amazon warehouse. Let's see what the guesses were. Yeah, Garth said, "Are they in the Amazon warehouse?" Cotton said it'll be revealed somewhere else. Coco likes it. Jeff gave us a boom. James says that he's got a good idea where it was coming from. So, OMG, I like this one, by the way. Tony said, history in the making. Yeah, when for example, when Cobb was making his Agency 101 training, if to be able to get over the shoulder snapshot of that would have been big, because that's literally led to like a lot of people making a lot of money. And I believe that what we were out there shooting today, and what Liz is going to keep following up on this week. Oh, he still hasn't gotten the email? All right, I gotta find a way to get John a link here. So I'm gonna pause sharing my screen. Yeah, he may be on Skype. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back with you. Got to make sure we can get John on the webinar. All right. I've been talking to a muted microphone for a couple minutes here. Hopefully, hopefully we're getting going here. A few tech difficulties here coming to you from Club Cotton. This is what happens when you come at things in field. And so I want to thank everybody for turning out on this Saturday afternoon. This is the webinar thread here. If you want to chime in, let us know that you can hear us. And what you got going on. Got a hashtag City on Hill from Ivan coming in from, I think, from Denmark. And let's see what we got here. Let's have a look at and see what's going on. Cotton put up actually an infield thread. We've got John Gill, who's going to be coming on with us just a little bit later. John's having to run out to his office. Awesome. Boyd can hear us. Hey, Boyd. Boyd came out all the way from Hawaii to visit us in Orlando for our pre-kickoff event from OMG Live Nashville. Mark Cuban is in there. Let's see. Okay, here we are. Here's a thread with that Cotton posted up. This is with me and Liz in field, and we're actually doing Amazon arbitrage plus scaling. We are actually. Does anyone want to kind of place a guess in the Facebook thread as to where we were? Oh, Susan McDowell's on. Let's make Susan live. I always like making Susan the organizer. She always, very oftentimes has great things to chime in with. Let's find Susan here. I wonder if Ty's back. We are conjecturing as to whether Ty's around. I don't see Ty on this event. I think Ty is still in China. But anyways, we've got a nice audience turnout. Appreciate you guys taking care of the understanding the tech difficulties we were having. Dave Fripp gave us an Amazon City on a Hill. Ivan, is it Antwerp, Belgium? I've been to Belgium, Ivan. I didn't. It wasn't that much fun for me. I think that's why I didn't remember it. But if I had known you and we had met up, I know it would have been a great time. Chuck's there. Tony Moore's there. Hey guys, thanks so much. So we're here to do Amazon Q&A. I haven't opened up the GoToWebinar question box. I just opened up right now. James is on there. David Fripp. Dude, James nailed it. He did know where we were. Look.
Wow.
It's right there.
How did he guess that?
What'd you do? It must have been a sign in the background or something. He did super zoom.
Unless his local store is set up like that.
Maybe that's what it is.
Mine isn't. Yeah. That's strange.
Eric Tan's on. Obviously I've been
there quite often.
Yep. David. Yeah, exactly. So there was no sound there for a little while, but we got it all. Yep. James says I shot there with my mom.
Okay.
That's great. Yep. We were actually at a Tuesday morning.
With terrible reception.
With the cell phone. So what we were doing was we were scanning products. We went from Tuesday morning, then we headed over to Big Lots, and we actually made a nice find at Big Lots.
We found a couple of things, but one of them was sort of expiration date questionable.
Yep. We were looking at grocery at Big Lots. We looked at toys at Tuesday morning a little bit. We looked at toys at Ross, but we were still having the reception issue. So anyways, we shot some infield. We're actually going to go out later today. We're going to drive down to Kissimmee, down towards Disney, and we've got going to be doing some more infield filming. And then when Liz gets back to Texas, she's got even more that she's going to be putting together, a little bit along the lines of what you've seen with Agency 101 with Cotton. But anyways, so we've got exciting stuff. I believe that we may be joined by Colin Clinker today. Colin was planning on joining us. He's got a big update to the OMG Command Center. So right now we're in the Club Cotton Command Center. The OMG Command Center is a little bit different. That's your a toolkit that Colin Clinker put together. He's got a big update that's going to be exciting for Amazon members, especially members interested in Amazon. But I don't know if I got back to him in time for him to jump on this event or not. So we'll find out if he's going to join us. We've got Susan Ann McDowell. Susan, are you there? Can you hear me? I don't know if Susan can hear me or not.
I can hear you. I'm going to be on mute most of the time because I have 4 dogs running around here.
You have 4 dogs?
So they'll be barking in the background, but I'm here.
We just have 1 dog. We have. What's this guy's name?
Rat.
Oh, Rat Dog.
What's his real name?
Furious.
Yeah, there are 4 up. I'm up here in Maine, and we have 4 dogs up here this weekend, so it's pretty insane.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Well, we're glad you came in and joined us. Cotton, you got to see the. No, Susan McDowell. So you got to see the very beginnings of our little over-the-shoulder Amazon arbitrage plus scaling methodology. Pretty fun.
Yeah. I think that everyone's really going to be shocked when they see it from the inception all the way through to how people can make money so quickly.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really cool. And while we've got you here, Cotton, just while everyone's getting everything together, we've got. I just want to do a little early plug here. Boom! Look at this assimilation on Wednesday. What's the scoop?
Well, Derek has been holed up, studying, doing a bit of research, and he's came to me and just said, "Listen, I got enough stuff right now to where we don't need a guest. Let me just take control of this last half of the webinar. I'm going to blow some minds." So this is all going to be about Derek unleashing what he's learned over the last 60 days. And he shared a little bit of it with me. And I'm going to tell you, people are going to be in for a treat. And I'm excited about it. So.
Is that Derek in the atmosphere? If I hover right here, is that indeed? Because there are rumors. I was on ESPN.com, and there was rumors that that's actually Derek Owasiak, the Kodiak.
That is Derek after I kicked him out of the OMG space station.
Oh, my goodness.
Sending him straight to Earth with this information.
Okay, great. All right, Cotton. Well, thanks for having us. We are at Cubs Cotton's Command Center here, and so we're gonna get started here. Like I said, at some point here, I believe we're gonna get joined by John Gill. He's having tech difficulties, but he is going to definitely try to join us. He's actually headed over to his office. Oh, and we actually do have Colin Klinkert here. Colin, are you on? Can you hear me?
Hi, Mike. Yes, I can.
Colin, man, you've got something that.
Can you hear me? Am I coming through?
Yeah, I can hear you great. And we think the people are literally going to be very excited to hear from you. Do you have while we're waiting for the spaceship to land with John Gill, you have an update to the command center. Would you like to take the controls and put the word out there?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, great. Let me make Colin's already an organizer. I'm gonna make him the presenter, and he is going to show you. This is a world premiere sneak update. I have seen this. I saw this from my iPhone. This is something that Colin actually worked with me and Liz and Jack on in the background. And this has been underway for about 2 months, I want to say. Is that about correct?
Yes, yeah, probably about 2 months, because kind of we got sidetracked on improving a few other tools and bringing out the auction scraper.
Yeah. Well, glad you finally got it together, and that you're going to reveal it today.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, cool. So basically, Mike came to me with a challenge, and he said that we are a city on the hill, and what we want to do is we want to find a way that everyone can help each other in a slightly more organized manner. So what we came up with was something called Social Exchanger. And basically, this software can be used for basically anything that you can think of. So we tried to make it as deregulated as possible, allowing you to basically have a free-flowing, free exchange marketplace with other OMG members, because you might be wanting, say, LinkedIn follows or basically Facebook likes in your new SEO company, or whatever the case may be, maybe upvoting reviews on Yelp and so on. And everything like that can be achieved through the Social Exchanger tool, which we plan on putting live on Monday. So obviously it'll be in beta at first, but it's quite easy to use. You simply click New Task, and then you can actually load from a previous task that you created. As you can see in this demo account, I haven't actually created any tasks yet, but all you would go through is just give it a title. So in this case, let's just use the Yelp review one as an example. For one simple reason, it's going to allow me to show you one interesting little feature it's called natural traffic. So basically, you would give a description here saying just vote up positive review, or whatever the case is. And then what you want to do is that would probably fall under maybe a review or a rating. And you have the ability to ask for a screenshot or video as proof of completion. This is totally up to you whether you ask for it or not. And also you can specify how long you think people should spend in order to create this task. So how long do you want it available for someone to take? So in a case like this, it's just going to be a real quick one. And how many people do you want to do this action? You just select as many as you want from there. And how many points are you willing to spend per action? So how many points are you willing to give someone to, in this case, vote up a review? So let's just say 1 point. It's a quick, easy task, and we want 4 vote ups real quick. And now this is private information. That's for the action takers only. So what happens here is you can then give more information that you don't want freely available on the marketplace. So in this example, we might copy and paste which review we want them to give and so on. So I don't know, Mike, how would I find something that would definitely have a Yelp review on? You mentioned before that you guys were ranking some Yelp reviews. Mike, can you hear me there?
Mike had to step out for a second, so.
Oh, okay, that's no worries. So basically what we'll do is we'll just go and search for some sort of like a just as an example. We can see one here. So if we want people to come to this one here, so what we might say is we might just copy a little bit of text like this. And yeah, probably this one here, which we know is likely to come up first or second, you know, whichever one is your review. Let's say that this one is yours here. So I guess this is a specific product here. We might just copy this and paste it in here. This is just one quick example of what a keyword phrase can do. And then you're going to create the task. So just put test here and create it. And then when people take the task, you can have full conversation messages. It's got a built-in message sent and everything like that. But basically, when they take the task, they'll visit this link. It's going to anonymize their visit. They're going to come from an anonymous source, and it's going to search Google for the exact term that they're saying. And so in the description, you're going to be able to say, click the top result, which would be, you know, Dallas Plumbing Co. or whatever. And I want you to access it by clicking this link, so that when you hit the Yelp website, it's going to be a referral from google.com where you're specifically coming from Google. And then when you vote up a review, let's say that, you know, there's this 5-star review here, you want to say, I find this useful, immediately Yelp is going to count that because it is from a referral, it's not a direct type in. So if you just give someone the link and they go directly there and say useful, there's a good chance Yelp won't count it. So that's what that feature there is for, but obviously you can use it for any type of crowdsourcing or crowd searching you want. I know that Colin, you've run some experiments, and other people have as well, along the lines of, okay, please like search for my listing, and then scroll down and click on it. So you can use this tool to do that and have as many clicks as you want, and then someone else will take the task and do them. So what you can see here is you can actually see the list of tasks that you've created, and you can also see the actions that you've created. So like any marketplace, it's kind of a give and a take. So you perform actions and earn credits, and then you can use those credits to get other people to perform any type of actions that you want as well. And then what you'll see is your profile stats. You're going to be able to see how many tasks you've created and how many actions you've completed, your average action completion time, and ongoing statistics with charts and everything like that. And what we're trying to do here is really like build a lot of hype of members helping each other. So we've created achievement leaderboards. And what's going to be visible here is every month there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a top 10, and you're going to receive stars depending on where you position. So points are basically calculated based on total number of actions plus total number of points earned. So then, you know, if you're doing smaller jobs or whatever, you're going to get less points, but you're getting more actions. So the points are going to sort of filter out for you there as well. And then what we're doing is we're doing an ongoing leaderboard as well. So at the end of each month, there's going to be prizes for people who finish in the top few positions. And then we're going to do a big prize and probably quite a few prizes for the top 15 at the end of 2015 for the leaderboard there. So the way it works is each month if you finish in the top 10, you win stars, and those stars contribute to the yearly leaderboard that we'll run every single year. And hopefully, if this gets quite big, the prizes can get bigger each year as well. But this is more for fun, you know, it's kind of like, so you can see how you're going. So for example, this demo account, I can see I'm position 16th, so I know that I need to get to work and I need to start sharing the love with fellow OMGers in the marketplace, in the social exchanger. So this is the tool that we're currently live.
Colin, can I verify a rumor? Con is telling me that the top prize is already verified for 2015. It'll be a brand new Lamborghini Aventador Roadster that you've already purchased, and he said he saw it on ESPN.com. Is that true? No,
I didn't purchase it. Alex Beck is actually giving us his. So.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. Becca wrote to me on Facebook. He's like, you know what? Let's just give away my Lambo. So.
Well, Cotton said, and I quote, that I'll participate as soon as you put up a G6. That's what Todd's expecting, and then he's in the game. But he said at that point he pretty much guarantees victory. So
All right, yeah, well, that's the other thing actually. You can't necessarily cheat, but one way that you can really find a way of sort of amping up your points is we want to have team accounts in here as well. So you can actually have your staff members come in here and do this for you. Because, I mean, sure, when you're just starting out, you can do this sort of stuff yourself. But as you're scaling up, I'm pretty sure that this is something that you want to have maybe a team member or a VA or someone else come into your account. You can block them from access to all the other tools inside here, and they'll only have access to this tool, and their job is to come in here and complete actions. Now, the one caveat to that is to ensure quality. We only allow you to have 3 outstanding actions at a time that have not been approved by the creator. So it's not like someone can sit here for 3 hours and just drum up a whole bunch of points. It is sort of an ongoing process where you can do 3 actions at a time. We don't put limits on the amount of points you can give for anything, or number of actions, or total tasks you can take. There's no limits other than the fact that 3 kind of pending ones at a time waiting for you to get approved that that's been done correctly.
okay, great. And this is pretty exciting. We already have around 700 people involved in the OMG Command Center, so this is a pretty broad community. And one of the things that's cool about this is, there's plenty of OMGers that are excited about Amazon, but there's also lots of OMGers that are more focused on, say, affiliate marketing or Cotton Grammar SEO style consulting. So, for example, let's say, one of the things that we just got word from Mandy Payne, and we're going to release more information on this when we have more information for you. But we got word from Mandy Payne that we're going to literally have some very important changes going on with how reviews and reviewers and stuff like that goes on Amazon. And again, more word to come when we know more. But anyways, one of the things that you can do with a review is you can vote it up. And this is, much easier. Voting up a review is much easier than actually doing a review or doing a verified review or something like that. And so, for example, one of the things that we can do is we can get, an OMGer who's like literally very focused on, let's say, affiliate marketing. They might have, some extra time themselves or have some extra VA space where they could, do some vote ups for some other members. And then maybe they could benefit from, maybe they want, real YouTube views on their YouTube videos, and, real, YouTube comments on their YouTube videos, whatever. So there's a kind of a good natural exchange going on there.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, that's kind of why you brought the idea to us, because inside OMG, there's kind of like, it's grown into such a broad community that it might seem like members can't help other members if they're focusing on different areas, but obviously that's not true. And this tool will definitely help facilitate all that. And yeah, as you say, I mean, I know that asking questions like Amazon questions can really help with keyword rankings and things like that as well. So you have the ability to also, if you're an Amazon seller, for example, you could, in the additional private information, copy and paste or write down questions that you want people to ask on your product. So you're kind of directing the questions in the Q&A section the way you want it to go. So then you know what questions are going to come up, and then you can answer them accordingly. There's all of this sort of flexibility with the system. You can really do pretty much with it as you want.
Yeah, very good. And now, for those of you who aren't yet involved with the OMG Command Center, this is an OMG exclusive. You can get it at omgcommandcenter.com. That's omgcommandcenter.com. This is something where OMGers get a radical discount. Actually, typically, it's not even literally even open to non-OMGers. A few times a year, it might be open to non-OMGers, but Colin has made it so it is currently open for OMGers. This is yet another reason this tool has expanded and expanded and expanded. Colin just mentioned just a little while ago he added the PBN blog scraper tool, and they're working on literally even more enhancements. So it's very exciting what's coming up and what's involved in the OMG Command Center. So thanks so much for jumping on with that update.
Thanks very much, Mike, for having me. I'm excited for the rest of the webinar.
All right, great. All right. Now I just got word from Liz that Mr. John Gill has actually officially come and joined us. John, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. You raced all the way out to your office to come and join us live. Thanks so much for jumping out.
Sorry about that. The internet wasn't working well at home, so Kind of got caught off guard there.
No worries at all. Now you and Liz have been you guys met up in your home in Tampa starting on Wednesday, and you've been working all week. You're rolling out several new product lines, and you guys were doing a lot of testing, some works on some underground projects. And I'm here, of course, I'm here with Liz right now. And then you came over last night and spent several hours with us. You and me and Liz and Cotton and Mike Bittler hit Rocco's Tacos, and we some masterminding and some planning and stuff like that. And now you're joining us today. We're real excited to have you out.
Oh, thanks for having me.
John, let's start out with what are some of the, you're literally a master at sourcing products from China. You've been to China several times yourself, and you've grown your business, to a huge extent. And what would you say some of the, either best practices or misconceptions that people have, or even some things that people suspect that are right about sourcing products from China, but they're just not sure? What are like maybe one or two of the best practices that you think people should know that they may not know, or at least they may not be sure of when it comes to sourcing products from China? Because you've now at this point brought millions of dollars products over from China.
Yeah, correct. No, I think for me it's just knowing who you're doing business with and making sure you verify who they are. I've been very fortunate. I haven't had any bad experiences, but I know a lot of people who have. And that for me personally, that was one of the huge benefits in going over there. I've been to the Canton Fair 3 times now, and to China 4 times. One was a factory visit tour. And it's just important it's critical to know who you're doing business with, because they have a lot to do with the success or failure of your business. So, and not only that, for me, I'm a big relationship guy. And when I find that I can get toe-to-toe with somebody and know how to communicate with them in a way that they're accustomed to, which I've learned through my trips and learned through some of people have taught me, it's been a game changer, and been able to negotiate some amazing deals. And I think it's just building the trust, them building, trusting you, and again, it's important that you trust them. So that's why that face-to-face has been critical. And not only that, as an Amazon seller, a lot of times one of the big concerns is MOQ, the minimum order quantity. And some of these guys want 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 unit MOQ. What I found is that when you're face-to-face with these guys, if you know how to talk to them, you can get a 300, 200 unit MOQ just so that you can test out and make sure that it's a product that's going to sell well. And that's very difficult to do through Alibaba or through the messaging service, emails or Skype, where doing it face-to-face has been very easy.
All right, great.
Those kind of some of the takeaways.
Terrific. Now, I also come to hear from Liz that you went out with a family member and did some retail arbitrage this morning.
Oh, lost you, Mike.
Okay. Can you hear me now, John?
Gotcha.
Yep. So I understand from Liz that you went out with a family member today and did a little bit of retail arbitrage. Yeah,
lost my virginity on that one. That was a first.
What were your thoughts? What store did you head over to?
Actually, I didn't. I was actually funny story. Liz. While Liz was here, we talked a little bit about it. I've never done it, and my wife is very interested right now in getting involved in Amazon. So I kind of figured that the retail arbitrage would be a great way for her to start. Very low barrier to entry. And she had some commitments this afternoon, but she was out at a massive garage sale. Yeah, I guess kind of a garage sale. It was all new products, and it was for some Humane Society charity event. So she got back. She couldn't get as many things as that she wanted because of time. So she sent me back, and it was kind of interesting. And the funny thing is that there was a lot of toys there, brand new toys. And I took my 11-year-old son, and he was the one who guided me. He was the one who told me what was hot and what was not. So it was kind of a cool experience.
That's cool. Did you happen to use Profit Bandit?
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Awesome.
scanning, and yeah, it was great because it saved me from buying products that I wasn't going to make any money on.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, well, that's what we were doing this morning, and we were at the stores. It's funny, you were just talking about MOQ of like 1,000, 2,000. I mean, how about MOQ one?
There you go.
That's kind of what you're getting with retail arbitrage. We actually found some Pop Tarts at Big Lots that were a big winner. Pop Tarts, can you believe it?
No kidding.
Pretty delicious too, though.
Yeah, and it also gets 2 thumbs up. You also, if you buy these particular Pop Tarts, you can even get a positive review from Liz. So, anyways, well, great. Well, we're really so glad that you joined us today. Mostly, what we want to focus in on is getting the biggest questions that people have on Amazon as a whole. So, if you're at home and you're watching right now, we have around 150 people online. You can either post in the OMG NHB Team Facebook group in this thread right here, or you can post in the GoToWebinar question box. Linda J says she uses ScanPower. I guess that's another.
Yeah, it's another tool you can use. I used to use that when I first started, way back in the day.
Yep.
But then I stopped using it because I sort of just enjoyed Profit Bandit. But ScanPower works just as well.
So ScanPower is another one.
There's several. You can use the Amazon one.
Free tool, right? Yeah.
ScanPower is paid. They used to actually. I think the thing that I stopped liking about ScanPower is they bundled it all together. So you were forced to use. I'm not sure if it's different. Maybe Linda can tell us, but you used to have to use their listing thing bundled with their scanner, bundled with a couple other tools that I sort of never use. So.
Great. Well, thanks, Linda, for bringing that up. We've got, all right, we've got a question here from Neil. This looks like it's a product question. I'm adding 2 new color variations. Here, let me actually do something that'll be very helpful for people. I'm going to find a way to actually show this question as a kind of a big kind of a question thing here. All right, I'm going to make this question bigger. Maybe a little too big there. Okay, great. So here is Neil's question typed out. I'm adding 2 new color variations to an existing listing. If I fill in only one of the required fields for the flat file and select partial update for the existing item, will the other listing details remain unchanged on the live listing? I would select update for the new items, but I'm worried about deleting elements in my existing listing, or do I need to copy all from my existing listing and enter it into the spreadsheet and then do an update?
You have to. This is exactly what John's son is actually doing right now for one of his product of one of his friends. You have to have all the information for all the products. So you have to create a parent if you don't already have a parent, and then you have to add all the children that you're going to add to that underneath that, and then put partial for everything. As far as the parent being, I can't remember the last time I did it, whether it's a partial or an update. Do you remember that, John? If not, what I would do is actually get it all together and call up Seller Central and ask to talk to a feed specialist, and they'll be more than happy to walk you through it. But if you can actually remember, John, if the parent has to show, I believe it does show you in the actual PDF on what the parent has to show. Do you remember if the parent has to show a full update, John, or just a partial? I think it's the full update.
It's a full update. It's a full update. But what I recommend, Liz, which you hit on this, because the flat files the flat files vary depending on the category. I would absolutely get on the phone with Seller Central and have them walk you through it. They'll pretty much do it for you, allow you to submit it, see if it comes up with any errors. If it comes up with errors, they'll read the errors and they'll adjust it for you right there on the phone.
Right.
That's really, you want to play it safe, get on the phone with Seller Central.
Yeah, and I believe you can ask for a feed specialist, so you skip actually talking to the Seller Central rep, and you actually talk to most of the feed specialists that I've talked to are American, English speaking people that you can pretty much understand 100%.
Linz, can I just chime in? Because I actually did this twice this week.
Okay.
If it's an existing parent and you're just adding 2 new variations, then everything is partial update except for the new variations that are update. If it's a new parent, it's update and then partial update for the others.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought originally. So, like I said, I just did it the way Susan said and just went for it. But if you're really nervous about the whole thing, I would recommend just giving them a call and talking to a feed specialist, because it can actually be kind of scary. But kind of my mentality is like, oh well, if I mess it up, I mess it up. Who cares? And that's probably not a very good mentality, but sometimes you got to break things to figure things out. So if you're really nervous about it, just call up Seller Central and talk to feed specialist. If not, do what Susan just said. So parent is full update. All the children are partials.
Okay, great. And that brings up another interesting point. That John, you actually taught your son. You took your son underneath your wing, and my understanding is he's now making 5 figures per month on Amazon. Would you mind telling us the backstory on that?
Well, I mean, there's not much of a story, but it is kind of funny. And I've shared this in ASM. I did not get the ASM course for myself. I got it for my wife. And supporting her, watching halfway through module 1, just to make a long story short, she was out. But it made a lot of sense, so I jumped in and took it from there. And for probably the first 6 months from the time I started Amazon till a couple months after launching my first product, my son, who's now 26-year-old, was laughing. He thought it was a joke. He really did. He couldn't believe that I was doing something so stupid. So long story short, he's not laughing anymore. But so he got serious and he jumped in, and he kind of it's great because he's a heck of a lot smarter than me, and he thinks differently and he catches things that I miss and vice versa. But yeah, I took him under my wing, taught him how to do the business. He grabbed onto it very, very quickly. He was easy to coach, and his first year in business with one product, he made a healthy 6-figure income. And other cool things have happened. He's partnered with his vendors for a new project that's going to be pretty massive because they were really impressed with what he did on Amazon. Yeah, not bad for a 26-year-old kid.
Yeah, great. Now, what were some of the stumbling blocks that he ran into?
I think doubt. I always come back to this. I think what I've noticed in some of the people that I've coached or spoke to, the ones that are struggling the most are usually ones that are getting in their own way. They overthink things. He was very guilty of that, just overthinking things and questioning yourself, questioning your product. And it's really, I think for me, because I'm such a simple person, I'm just really, really simple. I just kind of grab it and go. And I don't overthink it. I just jump in and I go for it. And a lot of times, once you got your systems nailed down, it works. So I think to answer your question, Mike, the biggest stumbling block for him was paralysis by analysis. Just questioning himself, questioning, is he doing the right thing? Did he pick the right product? And instead of just jumping in and testing it and let the market tell and tweak as you go along, I think that was probably his biggest stumbling block. And then at times, another big stumbling block for him is listening to his dad.
That's a couple of great points there, John. First of all, the second point that you made about listening to you, or certainly somebody like listening to Cotton or on SEO Consulting, listening to Liz. I've gotten it doesn't happen very often, but I have gotten a message. One time I got a message from somebody who said, what do you think about such and such? And I was like, well, that was in Client's Agency or Cotton's Agency 101 module. Cotton said to do X, Y, Z. And they're like, yeah, I know that, but I want to know what you think. And I'm like, what I think is you should listen to Cotton, because Cotton's making $400,000 a month doing this. Like, why don't you give that a shot? And then, now this is kind of a person who's just kind of particularly, probably was having a bad day or something like that. And they were just like, yeah, I'm basically not going to do it. I'm going to do something different. And I was like, then I'm thinking to myself, well, why are you asking me then? I think that one of the things is if you're going to go through the training that we're putting out there or ask a question, then give the benefit of the doubt. And I think with most people, first of all, almost anybody who's in OMG would just go along with that training, and even somebody who didn't probably is just having a rough day. I would say if you are having a rough day, something like that, sleep on it. You'll get up. You'll probably realize, yeah, let me just do it Liz's way, just to start with, just to test it, and maybe you will find something that's literally better, and that's great. We would love it. But start out like John's saying, in the case of his son, certainly listen to your dad because it has a lot of experience. The second thing about the analysis by paralysis is a much bigger thing, and this is what I love about the internet as a whole. When I first started my first business, it was a brick and mortar store, and before I got into business, I had to deal with zoning. I had to deal with getting a location that then involved the zoning. I had to sign a lease. That had me on the hook for tens of thousands of dollars. I was a kid. I was 22 years old, straight out of college. I had to buy inventory. The whole thing was, I had to figure out cases for the store and so forth. So where to the point where if I had been making a mistake, there were no bullets left in the, in the clip. That was it. That was my one shot. At least, I could do another business maybe years down the road, but it really would have set me back. The great thing with the internet, and this is especially true on Amazon when it comes to retail arbitrage, is one of the reasons why we're focused on this Amazon arbitrage plus scaling, and scaling is a huge part of this. Don't feel like just because you're looking at Pop-Tarts at Big Lots that can't turn into huge money. To give people an idea, there's one store that Liz goes to. About how much money are you making on that one store per year? $500,000 pesos per year. That adds up to $30. No, $500,000 per year. One store, just one store that she still does retail arbitrage to this day at $500,000. That's just one of many ways. Your mom identified a potential private label product at Walmart, and it's now $10,000 per month.
Right. So it's like what we talked about on the field is become an expert at one store. If it has to be one store, and learn everything you can about that one store so that you're an expert in the store and you can sort of just it's like a cash cow. So treat every store like that and then learn that store. And you'll also learn like seasonal things because like right now, I believe Target is having their end of the year toy clearance events, Target and Kmart. So toys go up to as much as 70% off. And if you can hang on to those toys till come around November, they fly off the shelf for a ridiculous amount of money. So every year I would actually go to Target at around this time of year and buy all the toys that I could, hang on to them until Christmas and then sell them. And that was right before another big season, which is back to school. So I have like certain points where if I want to, even now, if I wasn't doing so much private label, I could be stocking up on those toys and then stocking up on back to school and then just using every season to cash in. After back to school comes Halloween. After Halloween comes Christmas. After Christmas comes Valentine's. Then comes spring stuff like lawn and garden. And knowing just those seasons.
Yeah, Mother's Day, Father's Day,
right.
All this stuff.
Right, you can just hit every season and have a constant. Like I had one of my biggest days ever on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because most of my stuff is for women, and they go crazy for that.
Yeah.
So I actually did better on some of those days leading up to Mother's Day than I did on some of the days leading up to Christmas.
And Mother's Day, one of the things that Ty pointed out to me is that Mother's Day will double as Valentine's Day and as Christmas. A lot of your, say, bundles and stuff like that you might put together for Mother's Day, boom, or something that you do for Memorial Day can be 4th of July. Like some of these things stack out. My point is, all of these fine-tuned details, Con's busy with something right now, but Con's first website was not Resilient Solutions, or at least the first keyword he went after was not St. Louis SEO. Con, can I get you over here? Let me see. Con, when you got started, the first keyword you went after was not St. Louis SEO or Chicago SEO.
No, it wasn't. It was actually fear of doubt on myself. The first keyword I went after was Midwest SEO. And I believe if you look at that right now, I'm probably, I haven't checked it in a while, but I think I'm still number one for it. So when I seen that I could do that, what it basically showed me is that Yeah, I'm right there. So that I'm not setting my sights very highly. And the information that you're receiving in OMG is, I know that we're programmed that with every internet course that we've had, they've all been mediocre, shady, or even left alone. The problem is, guys, we have all the right information here. It's tested, it's battle tested, it's proved, it's went inside the lab, and it came out, and we put a seal of approval on it before we ever gave it to you. When I started to realize that, then I started going after places like Chicago. I started going after places, like Tokyo, places like that. And then I realized that with this information we have, and for me spending some time with Liz, she's got some deadly bombs to drop. And if you don't trust what she's saying, and at least realize that if it fails, then it might not have been her information that failed, it might have been your mistake. But because I can tell you this, when I was first starting out, Greg Morrison didn't make any mistakes. I found out that I missed something that he was telling me. So just because you try it once doesn't mean anything. I've had several websites go down and several come up. But at the end of the day, the information that we're getting is flawless. I think we're very fortunate to even just believe in yourself and believe in the information, and you're going to make a ton of money.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So this, when it comes to the analysis by paralysis, John's exactly right. And the thing to do is we've literally set things up in OMG. We've literally set things up where we're always thinking about your point of entry. We're not. There's other programs out there that have some degree of success for their members, but where they're insisting that what you need to do is start with a product sourced from China with an MOQ of 500 or 1,000, something like that. So you're going to be literally thousands of dollars invested. Well, I've watched one OMG over like the last couple of weeks. Now starting to push towards a couple $1,000s on Amazon, and that was with an initial investment of $400 to get 11 product lines. How about $400 for 11 product lines that are up, that are selling within, literally days?
Within checkout, they sold at checkout.
Yeah, exactly. Just immediately money like in the pocket, and then you see that that your Amazon intelligence grows exponentially.
Right.
Your confidence grows. You start understanding the back office of Amazon and how it works. You start being able to ask more meaningful questions, and being able to even participate in meaningful mastermind conversations with people because you're in the game. Whereas John, it's really different for you to talk to somebody. You could have somebody who's spent $100,000 on Amazon information, but they've never put up one listing, by way of comparison to somebody else who's got $1,000 in sales on Amazon, and you're probably able to have a more meaningful conversation with the person who's just gotten out there and made $1,000, by way of comparison to a person who's gone out and spent $100,000 in training and done nothing.
It's so funny you say that, Mike. Liz and I were talking about that. Liz and I know a ton of people that have done that. People that I've known for years that have spent a ton of money. I see them at every event, and when I talk to them to find out where they're at with their Amazon business, they're nowhere. They've done nothing. They're just frozen. And so, yeah, you're right. And I think sometimes some of those people are the ones that are just overanalyzing, or they're just something that there's a fear factor or something that's stopping them from taking that leap. And that's what I always tell people: just take the leap. Take the leap. Start small if you want to, but just take the leap. Get in there. Get your feet dirty. Learn the ropes. Fail quickly. That's how you learn. But I'll tell you, once you get in there, you're going to be surprised. What can be done inside Amazon.
Yeah, we identified several products just today alone. One was pretzels.
Yeah, the pretzels. They were actually pretty good, except for I think they were just right in line. They would have still made it, and they would have sold well.
Yeah.
But the Pop-Tarts were just going to be.
The Pop-Tarts were going to be huge money.
Yeah, but the Pop-Tarts did come because it's so, like I told you, when you first go in to scan the store, it can be kind of intimidating because there's so much stuff. But the best thing that you can do is try to scan everything that you can.
You're getting started.
And you're getting started just to get an idea. Obviously, you do want to look at a lot of name brands because they tend to be better, but I still just used to scan everything. But the Pop-Tarts, I actually used to sell those Pop-Tarts back in my retail ARB days during the Christmas season. I would go to Target and clean them out on those Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, so paying retail, not even a discount
right,
store
it
like
wasn't
Big
even
Lots.
a discount because they were like $1.25.
And you were making thousands.
Yeah, I was buying everything that Target had. I would go to every single Target in my area and buy them out. And so when I saw them sitting there, I think we were scanning the pumpkin ones, and I told you,
Yeah.
that's too bad they don't have the sugar cookie ones.
Yeah, and then they were right there.
And then there we looked, and there was the sugar cookie ones, and I knew immediately $1.25. That's insane.
Well, and again, give me a hashtag. We haven't gotten into any hashtags today. Give me a hashtag scaling. I'd like everybody. We have over 155. We have over 150 people on right now. Give me a hashtag scaling. This is a huge thing to understand that if the end of the line with this was just buying products and reselling them onesie twosie, then that would be totally valid. It would totally make sense. It would actually be a fine way to probably make high 5 figures, low 6 figures additional per year. And that's great. But that's not our end game with this, Liz. It's not our end game at all. Our end game with this is scaling. And there's a lot of different ways to scale. We discussed this. You can identify a store that's really, one of the things that's great about this is yes, there's national stuff like Big Lots and Tuesday Mornings and so forth like that, Target, but there's small niche kind of things. Some stuff like you were saying, like it could be Hispanic, could be Korean, could be, so different, nationalities or different, heritage kind of stuff. It can be something that's in El Paso or something that's just in Orlando, or it could be downtown LA was a big place for you getting your start. For me, listen, where I made a lot of money, a huge amount of money. And it's funny because it wasn't until I got back into this I saw this, but there was a couple of stores in South Carolina, like I'm talking mom and pop stores in South Carolina, that I made hundreds of thousands of dollars, where they made hundreds of thousands of dollars from me. And then I turned around and made hundreds of thousands of dollars more. And if not for those stores, I'm talking, there was one in Elgin, South Carolina.
I don't even know where that is.
I hardly know either. It's somewhere near Columbia. And it was a cool guy. Toby was the owner of the store. And I would I would be constantly going up and down the East Coast, scouring the country for as many Magic the Gathering cards as I could, first to bring them over to Tokyo. To use them to acquire, in Tokyo and Osaka, I would get Pokemon cards and bring them back to America. And then the thing is that, then ultimately it wasn't even worth it for me to go over to Tokyo, because then I could, when I had my own Magic information product, and I wanted to use those cards to acquire Magic information product customers. So I would just sell them in America. But anyways, the long story short, the point is, you might find a stamp store in, BFE, like, in the middle of Arkansas, or you might find, a guy who just has a connection on luggage.
Right. My favorite stores are just just because I know my mom's always gone to them, because we grew up really poor. So they were kind of stores targeted at Hispanics.
Yeah.
Where they specialize in just having really cheap stuff, where the Hispanic population really loves to go there and shop. But they have had some gems, absolute gems. And I get this stuff for 99 cents, and I can sell it for $10.
Right.
So easily. It's just a matter of going in there and scanning them. And those are the stores that they want you to buy the stuff. They'll call you when they have stuff. Yeah. As long as you develop relationships. But I think one of the most important things that I've heard so far is just like when we use Ira as an example, where she made, she's at $1,200 or $1,300 now off of $400. The one thing that you see her face light up so much with is when you talk about how much confidence she's gained from that first sale. Yeah. Because then it makes her believe she can scale up to the sky.
The funny thing was when we hit the stores today, me and Cotton were kind of following you around. She was off just doing her own scanning. She was like, "You guys are too slow." Wham, 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 wham. Not that she has, of course, plenty to use. She would bend your ear as much as she possibly could. Okay, got another question here from. This is from Eric. And he says, "Where can we find Profit Bandit?" It's an app. It's in the App Store.
Yeah, it's you can even Seller Engine Labs, I think it's called. Seller Engine. Susan and McDowell went over there. I think it's sellerengine.com as well. But yeah, it's in the App Store. And it's $10 a month. You first also need to download a barcode scanner, which is free.
And Linda is saying that scan power is what she uses, and it's a necessity if you want to do shoes, which I did not know.
I've never tried shoes, so I did not know that. I think shoes is gated. She could probably verify that for us.
Now, some things are gated. Toys become gated near Christmas time.
Yeah, you have to at least sold a toy, so it's important to start selling them now and having so many sales. I'm not sure if it's 50 before actual toy season comes into play. So if you're interested in selling toys for Christmas, start going and looking for them now.
Yeah, and even if you're selling toys at at a marginal thing, Yara was selling those what are they called? Skylanders. Skylanders, and they weren't a huge profit. It was like $3 a pop or something like that.
History of selling them.
Yeah. At least, yeah, have some deal of volume. Okay, we've got Maura, and we've got a question here from her, so I'm just going to copy and paste that out.
It's probably a good one for John to start off with, and then I'll add in.
All right, John, let's kick this one over to you. Say I wanted to scale up my Amazon business to $5 or $5 or $10 million per year. Can you address what kind of infrastructure, staffing, investment, inventory, office I'd need to reach that level? So she's kind of trying to wrap her head around if you're getting up to really the big level. Maybe a little bit for future pacing purposes, just to kind of paint a picture in her mind of what that might look like. So John, as you're scaling up, as you're growing, what kind of infrastructure are you adding on? And especially what things are you glad that you've added? And maybe where's one or two places where you might not make the same decision next time?
Well, as far as making, I would make the same decision, so that I can drop that one. The first hire that I made, because when I started this thing, I was just a one-man band. And when I got to a point where I could afford to hire and needed to hire, for me, the choice was customer service and somebody to handle the shipping, which was the same person, because I'm a big believer in giving the best customer service available on Amazon, and for many reasons, which I think it's probably better for another call, but it just helped with the reviews, it helped with the brand, it just helped for many reasons. So that was taking a lot of my time. So that was the first hire, somebody that handled customer service, and when they weren't, and part of that customer service, where I mentioned the shipping, because I was using FBA, do use FBA, but anytime we got somebody who complained, had a problem, or requested a refund, part of our customer service strategy was to give them a free product. So we were shipping products every day. So that was my first hire, and that alleviated a lot of time for gave me more time to build the business. And then I was adding some VAs, a graphics guy, a developer, some people that would just handle some tasks. A copywriter, and then the big hire, which has been a game changer for me, was a project manager. And and all my staffing are very well versed in Seller Central, Vendor Central. They know the platform actually better than me. A lot of questions that may pop up, I'm going to look like a deer in the headlights because I got people who do it for me. But that project manager was mission critical to really, really, really scale to a huge level, because it was having somebody that could handle and manage the team that I had built and handle some of these tasks with, making sure that the listings were done right, that all the systems that we had created were followed, and that just gave me the time to work on strategy, scaling, and things that I'm really focusing on, like marketing outside of Amazon. Some of the things that I'm learning from you guys.
John.
So as far as the investment is concerned in inventory, I mean that's a gradual thing. That's a gradual thing. I mean, if somebody wanted to, just blow the doors off, I mean, I think that would be something that I would be more comfortable sitting down with them and going over the numbers and getting an idea. That's kind of an open question there, because I didn't do it that way. I built it slowly because I had no choice. I started my business with a $2,500 investment and made over $1 million the first year. But I started small.
John, I actually met and of course, I think that idea, first of all, starting as a one-man gang, obviously that's a total winner for everybody here, and then scaling up as it makes sense. That makes obviously all the sense in the world. That's number one. Number two, I actually had the privilege of meeting your project manager, Michelle. She's very, very, very sharp cookie. And one of the really cool things I wanted to point out is not only, from my understanding, is she an excellent project manager for you, but you've actually literally to the point now where you're actually partnering with her and her husband on some projects. So again, another way of scaling. Interestingly enough, you're kind of almost double scaled by joining forces with her. And this wasn't the first move. Your business was already a multi-million-dollar business before she joined your team. But at that point, you had the personal sophistication. You had enough for her to attract somebody who is top-notch to pay somebody top-notch, where she could really sink her teeth into things. But what was even really cool is that not only did she help streamline your business, but then now to the point where she's literally become a business partner of yours, and that's a whole growing sector of your business.
Yep. And she's actually my second project manager. I have one that's in house. She doesn't work within my office, and she's just working on project manager for several projects. But yeah, having those project managers were game changers because it just alleviated the time for me to work on my business instead of working in my business.
All right, excellent. Liz, did you want to add on to this answer?
So for me, I kind of did a little bit different. I don't actually have a project manager. I sort of just alleviated the need. Although I do see the benefits to it, and I saw John, the one that he has in house is really badass. She's just amazing. So for me, the way I sort of did it is I looked at the jobs that I wanted to do or that I was good at, and I would focus on doing those, and then hire somebody else to do the things that I'm not good at, like managing the whole Amazon store. So as I joke around, I tell Mike and I tell everyone here that I don't even actually know how to send a shipment into Amazon because I don't. Because the last time I sent one in, it was through Inventory Lab, which was back in the retail arbitrage days. And I even haven't sent one in through Inventory Lab in so long, I forgot how to do it. So I don't even know how to send a shipment in through Amazon directly. And that's because my store manager, who's my brother, handles all the stuff inside of Amazon. So I sort of segment what jobs that I don't want to do. So store manager is one. Inventory management, I'm not good at that either. So I have somebody for that. Accounting, I have somebody for that full time. Then obviously I've got my VAs, my outsourced people like a graphic artist, copywriter. You can never have enough copywriters because sometimes they take forever. So I do have a couple of those. And I just segment out the rest of the stuff that I don't like to do. Like I typically like to source, but I have people in China that do my sourcing too. So I handle sourcing in terms of I find the products that I want. I let the people know in China I need this. They go and do it. So I only do certain jobs, and then I outsource those other jobs that I don't technically want. Now, after I saw the way John sort of did his stuff, having a project manager, I know that at some point I'm probably going to add one. But again, there's really no right way to do everything. People do things differently, and that's kind of how I've had a lot of success doing it like that. But I certainly can see that's why when you have friends, John and I are friends, or I'm friends with Mike, I see how other successful people do things, and I learn from them, and then I take the things that I like that would sort of fit my personality and my organization, and I add them in.
Yeah, also just things that fit your own resources and where you're at with your business. I mean, you're at this point, obviously, Liz, you're multi-million-dollar a year. But first of all, interestingly enough, the way you built your bankroll was retail arbitrage.
Yeah, that's the very interesting part. And the other thing is a lot of people are so, again, analysis paralysis. They don't know. They're like, how do I structure my organization? Or how do I hire staff? Or how do I do this? How do I do that? They don't realize that stuff just doesn't really matter. Just focus on selling things. And then once you kind of align yourself with other people that are smarter than you are, that you can sort of see how they do it, and then you do it. So a lot of people focus so much on organizational structure and all that it sort of stops them from doing the stuff that counts, which is selling.
Yeah. Motivation is a huge factor. This is one of the things that David Mills is really focused on and helped me understand. I'll give you a mundane example of this. Like, if you say that, let's say you have friends coming to visit you and you start getting stressed out because your place is messy and you just feel like there's just not going to be enough time because you can just already tell that you just don't have the motivation to clean. Well, the funny thing is it might hit like right around like 1 hour before they get there. Like a little light bulb goes off in your head. Next thing you know, you got all the energy in the universe. You're Swiffering and well, I mean, for me, it would be Swiffering. That is cleaning. But anyways, or let's say you have a hot date coming over or whatever. Then next thing you know, you're cleaning up a storm. So, it's kind of the same thing. If you take care of business when it comes to getting out there and getting those sales, like Liz is saying, and just getting the coffers going, like turning over some product and making some sales, and also having some items that are just sitting there that you have to kind of jostle them loose a little bit, or maybe even cut your losses here and there. Then you're going to gain the motivation to do like you're saying, like for a while you were using inventory labs and you were shipping stuff right and left. You were traveling around with your Dymo and your Dymo's a little printer, by the way, guys. And, you have your cell phone, your Dymo, and just hitting places, getting packaging materials, packing stuff up, and shipping it off to FBA to the point where when you started getting volume, you started building up your bankroll, and you started getting into your private label stuff. That's where you said, hey, my brother's sitting around playing Xbox. I know what I can do with that time, and
he was actually selling on Amazon also. I got him into selling on. He still does retail arbitrage on the side.
Yeah.
But then he works for me full time.
Nice.
So he basically knows how to do. He's better at the inside of Amazon than I am. So I outsourced it to him. He does everything, and I don't even know how to list something inside of Amazon. Not list something, but ship stuff into Amazon. Yep. Other than with using Inventory Lab. And I think the last time I used Inventory Lab was the old version. So I wouldn't even know with this current version. I would have no idea how to work it.
Cool. That right there is just some real world information. And at OMG, again, we're not here to tell you what we think you want to hear. We're not here to feed you kind of a line of bull about theory or this or that. It's just not what we do. You're getting insider perspective, the real stuff. What's really building our businesses. You're hearing from John and especially from John and Liz today on how their business actually progressed. And look, the conditions were different when they were building their business back then. But the other great thing is we're getting lots of data in from new OMGers, and of course John and Liz are still using these same techniques and launching new product lines and having success with them. So you're really getting really the straight scoop here. Without a bunch of, you really, it's just kind of about transparency. We did a hashtag scaling there for a second. Let's get a hashtag transparency. And the reason I say this, transparency, the reason I say to focus on the transparency, of course, I think that Liz and John are aces here, and the Cotton's an ace here, and you're learning a lot. But I want you to recognize what values to focus in on, because you know what? If you read somebody else's sales letter, they might say, oh, go here, push a button. You're just going to make zillions of dollars. Don't be like these dummies that are actually out there working, But the thing is, the person who's writing that sales letter, that's a fantasy. It's not something real. I mean, I could also, watch Star Wars and wish that I had a spaceship, and say, well, that'd be really cool if I had a spaceship. But or a lightsaber or something like that. But that's still not going to, it's science fiction. What you're getting here is not science fiction. What you're getting here is hard-nosed, hard-boiled, in the field, real deal strategy, and of what's actually working right now. So I think that is, it's just going to be literally very exciting. Now, Eric's asking, can we discuss more about retail arbitrage? Liz has got a whole module on this. Now, first of all, she does discuss retail arbitrage quite a bit in her all-new product sourcing series that's just literally incredible. It's in your members area. It's only a couple weeks old. So you're going to want to catch up to speed on that. We filmed some in field today, and Liz is going to be working more kind of almost like on an agency 101 version of helping you understand this arbitrage. But remember, it's not just arbitrage, it's arbitrage plus scaling. Okay, don't forget that scaling, right? We talked about that, a little bit before, but definitely do not forget about that scaling. That scaling element is critical. It's critical. That's why we did a hashtag scaling earlier. Tons and tons of people got into that. Tons of people getting into transparency here. So keep that all in mind. All right, I'm going to pull a question here from Stephen. And Stephen, I think, let me get Stephen's question up here so we can answer it. Okay. Stephen says, just listed a private label product. Listing shows product but not a seller. Shows a button for one seller, me. I don't think I'm following this question. Stephen, can we get more details on your question? We're going to try to answer it. We've got Boyd from Hawaii here. Going to try to answer his question. I do want to sell on Amazon, but not the shaving brush. Boyd, this may be something that where you had asked a question earlier. I don't think I followed that one. But Boyd, if you could clarify your question, we'll try to get it up there. And he may have been kind of going back and forth with John or Susan or something like that, and I didn't understand it. Okay, Laura says, I bought some items for retail arbitrage, but created my own listing with a UPC and a different way of bundling the product. Before my inventory had been received by FBA, another seller had hijacked my listing. How does something like this happen when the listing wasn't even searchable because it wasn't active yet? Are people using some kind of a scraper that uses Amazon API to find out about new and inactive listings?
So with that being said, when you create a bundle of products that aren't your own brand, it's not hijacking. Anybody is allowed to list under that particular product. When you enter the UPC and put a picture, the item is available to people within the Amazon finding or adding a product. The back end, when you hit add a product and you search for UPC within Amazon to list, people can actually see that on there. So it probably would even come up on Profit Bandit if you were to scan that UPC. No, it actually wouldn't because it's a new UPC. But when they put in maybe the UPC in one item or they just searched by hand, like let's, for example, say it was a sketch pad. So let's say it was a sketch pad, a Strathmore sketch pad bundle. And so let's say the person searched Strathmore sketch pad because that was one of the items in the bundle. Then if they search that in the Amazon add a product section, your bundle would come up and they could see, oh, look, somebody listed this for $39.99 and they added a sketch pen. I can do that and that'll make money. And then they're allowed to send it in because it's not, you don't own the actual brand.
Right.
So that's the thing with retail arbitrage. You have to understand that several other sellers can come in and compete with you for the buy box, but that doesn't really matter because you're using the power that Strathmore has built on their brand name. So in a way, you're kind of leeching off of Strathmore by selling their product.
Yeah, and the point is with these, here's what you're going to find out with retail arbitrage is your conversion percentage is so much higher because like when people are going, they already know that they want to, yeah, like if somebody wants to buy Shape magazine with Jessica Alba, then they don't care whether they buy it from 7-Eleven or from the Walmart or some kid on the street. I mean, literally, they don't care. It just doesn't make it. It could literally look weirdly enough. It could be at a garage sale, right? And it's irrelevant because someone could pick it up and say, okay, this is Shape magazine. It's got ads. It looks like Shape magazine. Great. Here's my whatever it is, $2 or $5. I can't believe I paid $5 for this thing. All right. Well, anyways, whatever. $5 for the Shape magazine or whatever because it's a brand. Now, what there are metrics that are going to matter for getting the buy box, though.
Right. Yeah, the buy box is an entirely different thing, and it's something that we actually discussed in the car earlier, is that people misunderstand the way that you win the buy box. They assume that it's based off of having the lowest price, and that's not true. Having a price within a percent range of the actual current price is one of the factors, but it certainly isn't. Lowest price does not absolutely get the buy box. It also comes into play like your seller rating and a couple other factors that I haven't actually looked at in a while. And unfortunately, Ty's not here. She would probably be able to tell us those because she's still really heavily into the retail arbitrage. but it's pretty easy. I could definitely look it up and share it with everyone. So don't necessarily think, oh, my competitor's now selling this Strathmore sketch pad for $25 and I was trying to sell it for $29.99. Don't like undercut them to 24 because then you're creating a snowball effect where you're both driving the price down on a product that you probably don't both have a lot of.
Yeah, you're killing the goose that laid the golden egg at that point.
Right. So you want to sort of match their price or even be a couple cents higher than them.
Yeah.
Because you'll rotate the buy box depending on your other metrics, and you both will sell, especially if it has a high enough ranking.
Yeah. All right, great. That's going to be a critical thing as time goes on. Quick question here from Laura. Why does Profit Banner require access to your Amazon seller account? Concerned about giving access? Don't be concerned. It's fine.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen.
I was actually talking to this Mike in the car. You can also list things from Profit Bandit, so that's why they sort of require access to your Amazon seller account. And they'll also save you from making a lot of mistakes. When you scan and something's not allowed to be sent in, it'll notify you of that. So I remember way before this actual feature was available in Profit Bandit, there was a lot of stuff that I bought and I got stuck with. I had to go back and return it, or in some cases, I was like, oh, I'm not even going to return. I'm just going to sell it on eBay. And some of them didn't sell. I got stuck with some spec cases, which at the time were restricted. So it'll actually save you from doing that now.
It'll tell you if you're getting into a restricted category or
restricted product. It'll tell you Beats. You can't do Beats.
Right. Like so, for example, even if you could score a bunch of Beats headphones, you might be able to sell those on eBay, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But it's not it's not going to go on Amazon because that's something that Amazon has made exclusive to the Beats brand. Now, one of the things I want to distinguish is Liz is still making actually like right now literally a ton of money in doing arbitrage. That doesn't necessarily mean that at the moment, interestingly enough, you're not likely to look over and see her at Big Lots scanning right now. Why? Because she's scaled her business right now. And this is the thing is we're not looking to have you 2 years down the road. It's not that I want to see you at Big Lots scanning. That's not what I'm saying. You can. Well, and interestingly enough, even Justin, who did $40 million last year, still goes to Target to keep it fresh, to keep in touch with things. But you may not be spending 3 hours at a session or several times a week going to Target, let's say. Or if you were, it would be kind of for higher level research and so forth. Because at that point, see, Justin's really big into wholesale. So what he's trying to do is really keep his mind active and fresh for wholesale and stuff like that. You might be looking for, when you're shopping right now, a lot of the shopping you're doing, you're spotting private label ideas, right? Like possible things that you could do. And look, if you come across some Shopkins, you might buy those up and stock those up for Christmas and so on.
I think Fittler has some stuff.
Yeah, apparently he does. So I kind of want to point this out because again, scaling. And by the way, how are we scaling? We're scaling by making that first $20 on Amazon, by making that first $100, by first breaking into black ink and so on. But that's that's how we're going to go. And even you, John, it's not like you got on and your first month, you had $1 million business. You said you started with a $2,500 investment. That probably was for maybe one or two private label products. It wasn't like, the next day you placed an order for $500,000 worth of more product.
Right. Actually, it was one product.
It was one product, right?
Yeah, just one product.
Yeah. So what did that progression look like for you? Because again, you're still looking to scale, and of course, we're not saying that retail arbitrage is the only point of entry. It's a great one. It's the one we recommend. But you can do exactly what John did and start with a private label product and scale up from there. So John, let's say your first year, you bought $2,500 worth of a given product. You stuck it up on Amazon and got some reviews to it and so on. And then what was the next move? How long before you had to reorder?
Pretty quickly. Actually, very quickly, because it took off right out of the gate.
All right, great.
So, I was ordering right away.
And so at that point, what you might have reordered, like at that point, like maybe $5,000 worth of product, or even $10,000.
Yeah, because I made, I want to say, like within that $2,500 investment, I think I made about 15 grand within 30 days, in less than 30 days.
Sure, sure,
So I was able to just, take all that money and just reinvest and place another order.
sure. And at what point did you add a second product line?
Probably about 45 days after my first one.
All right, great. Great. So again, what you were looking to do is add a product line and scale that way. These days, you're scaling in a different way. It's not just, you're not just adding individual product lines at this point. You're partnering with even factory owners that are fronting cash and fronting product to you, and so on. So there's different ways of scaling. You're scaling just like someone who's starting with retail arbitrage.
Right.
Just want to make sure that everybody understands that it's just not. These things are something that happens in a progression. Happens in a progression. Okay. Maria's asking. This is a question that's going to be a little bit broad. It's a little bit overly broad, but we're gonna help you look for the right things that you need to do to answer this question for yourself. What types of advertising do you find that's most effective to rank the quickest? Maria, first of all, great that you're here, great that you're involved, great that you're asking questions. What you're going to want to do is go through your Amazon training in your members area. We've talked a lot about brute force giveaways. We've talked in your members area, you have over the shoulder and how we're doing Amazon pay-per-clicks. We've talked about using video and Wirecast to get reviews up. I think
I can answer it real quick.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure John has an answer for this. I think the absolute most effective thing is brute force giveaways. That's just what I think online. For a private label product, there's nothing else I'd rather use. Actually, I talked to John about this. In some ways, I sort of don't even like Amazon pay-per-click anymore because I don't think it's as effective as it used to be. And the amount of people that are in ASM and have been taught to bid the highest amount, which is completely
crazy,
absurd to me,
yeah,
is just astounding. And they're driving the cost up on pay-per-click where I feel that it's a waste of money and I'd rather brute force giveaway things. So that's kind of my take.
Yeah, that's where you can control your costs. And again, the brute force giveaway, for those that don't know, we have lots of material on this. You can go back to the previous Amazon Q&A webinars before this. But the long story short on this is you increase your price, do a giveaway like with Susan Ann McDowell, and then lower your price back down. John, what's your answer for this?
Same answer.
Great.
Same answer. Yeah, I give away a lot when I launch, and it usually gets me to page one within the first week or two.
Okay, great. All right. Let's see, we've got a question here from Jay. When you replenish your inventory for a private label product, how many months of inventory do you usually order based on the Amazon sales estimates? For example, do you order enough inventory to last 1 month, 2 months, or longer for each order? How would you answer that, John?
Me personally, and again, it also depends on the time of the year. Because come the holidays, you got to make sure you get your stuff in early. Because the closer to Christmas, the more risk you have of Amazon losing your inventory or just getting backed up in DHL or whatever delivery service that's being used. But I personally get a couple months worth of inventory.
All right, great.
It makes it a lot easier for me because I have so many products. I don't have to watch it as close. I kind of give myself some wiggle room.
And obviously, when cash is tight, you're going to cut that closer to the bone. This comes from Neil. What kind of margins can you average on retail arbitrage? Neil, there's a huge variance here. It can be 10%. It can be 1,000%. And really, like there can just be a huge variance. Like we talked about, you might just be wanting to get toys ungated, and so you might sell a bunch of.
Might be good just to get ungated.
Yeah.
But for me, like I always look at if the margins are like 20% or less, it better turn super fast.
Right. So that's the other thing is you got to look at that point at the bestseller rank. Whereas,
how fast can I turn my money? If I can turn it within a week that it checks in within the day, I'll buy it all day long at 20% because it means I'm getting 20%. Like it's like
immediate.
Right,
yeah, exactly. And we're going to get more into these details with your with your upcoming module that's going to really add on to the incredible training that Liz has already put in. This is from Ivan. Mike, it was the same thing for me. My wife woke me up. Now I'm back with the right focus, got true to the law of implication at last and took action. Monday, my first client consult, not a contract yet, but it's excellent. It's excellent. Ivan, I'm really glad to hear that. Evgeny says, okay, great. He's got a food question. Question about food products like Pop-Tarts and pretzels. Do you have to have special permission to sell foods on Amazon? You do. You have to get ungated,
right? But that's something we were talking about. I'm going to look into the details for that. I don't know how drastically they changed, but last that I had actually checked that you could send in invoices, meaning you could even send in receipts from Walmart and Target that you bought the items there.
Yep.
But there'll be more information coming on that.
Yeah, more information on all this stuff. Richard says, when you buy a ton of Pop-Tarts and sell them, do you do fulfillment from your house? No, we're using fulfillment by Amazon. We're using fulfillment by Amazon.
You send it all to Amazon and they fulfill it.
Yeah.
And again, we'll cover that in the modules that are coming up.
Yeah, but Linda says shoes are gated, but they're great as a clothing. Great to know, Linda. We'd love to hear more about your experiences. Norman, and this is a great question here. Norman says, should I open a new Amazon account just to do retail arbitrage? Because my current account is themed for health.
You certainly can. You can even email them and ask them for permission to do so. Again, there's 2 different ways to open up that account. This is something John and I talked about this week, was you can either ask them for permission and explain to them the situation. They'll understand that one account's themed for health and the other one you're going to do a lot of other things. A second situation is to just get a VPS. Some people call it VPS.
Yeah, VPN. Yeah.
And then do totally different bank account, totally different business entity, totally different credit card, and never log into that account with anything other than the VPS.
Okay, great. All right, Liz and John, what is your advice for beginners when it comes to a niche? Should we pick one and stick with it or spread it around a little bit? On this, do you feel like it's important to have a seller's name based on the niche? Thanks, David.
So I'll go ahead and answer that first. For me, I feel the best way, and it might be different what John feels, but the beauty of this answer to these questions, or this particular question, is the fact that there is no right way. So the best way is to just do something. So the way that I did it is I spread out all over the place. I put up like 4 or 5 different products in different niches and figured out which one took off the quickest and which one I also enjoyed working with the most. And then I started to build a brand around that. And still to this day, I still do that. I might last out 5 or 6 different products in 6 different niches and then see which one does well and then say, hey, I can build an entire brand around this. So I have a good variety of products. But that's sort of how I think that it should be done because it could help a beginner succeed more.
And you're constantly getting informed by your experience.
Right, but that is because I do have a pretty strong background in a lot of product, just because I've sold all sorts of crap, as you guys saw today.
But again, that's how you did it. Right. You did it by doing it. You did it by going out and being informed. And this is one of the things that we really want for you is we want you to be informed by your experience. I mean, especially here's a time when I literally don't even want to make a reference to comparing this to SEO client consulting or even affiliate marketing because this is different. It's such a wide open game with retail arbitrage. You're in the game. You're in the game.
That's what counts,
the second that you see something where you can buy it for less than you can sell it for, you're in the game. I mean, you are a few, mouse clicks and keystrokes and moving your arms around and taping up some stuff, you're that far away from collecting a paycheck.
Right. And like I said, I know that John has a different answer to this, but the beauty of the answer to this question is the fact that there is no right way. So with that being said, you can go ahead.
Yeah. John, what would you say to this?
Well, Liz is absolutely right. I mean, again, it's not that my answer is different. It's just that I kind of went a different path because my background and experience was different than Liz's. I started with a particular niche because my goal was building a brand, which I've continued to do. But over the last year and a half, I've expanded into probably about 4 or 5 other niches, and that's continuing to grow. So really, the answer as a beginner, and Liz hit the nail on the head. Just start with one product. Just get started, get it out there, get your feet wet, learn the ropes, and then take it from there, because it depends. I mean, you could have a niche in mind, start with one product, and then find out that your product's not selling well, and you may want to go in another direction. So for me, I would just say just get started. Get started, get a product, get it out there, get going ASAP.
Yeah, and again, this one of the reasons why our top recommendation for getting started fresh is going to be retail arbitrage, because I've seen it. I've seen it right in front of my eyes, where $400 becomes 11 product lines, and $1,200, with several $100s in profit, like right away. So John's exactly right. You're in the right place. You've got the right information, so you can hit that point of entry. Quick question here from Gary: how do you send a shipment to Amazon then? You're going to use, in the case of retail arbitrage, probably going to use Profit Labs.
Inventory
Labs. Yeah.
You can do it within Amazon. You can even do it with a Profit Bandit. Again, we'll cover that again probably this week sometime in a video.
Yeah.
It's super simple, but yet I don't even know how to do it. So that just shows you how amazing that. It's just like it's a skill like anything else. I just never took the time to learn it because I outsourced that immediately because it was something that I just didn't like doing. Yeah. I did not like packing boxes and doing all that stuff, so I outsourced it immediately.
Okay, great. All right, and that could be the same as like with SEO. You might just not enjoy doing articles that you're going to put on your private blog networks.
Right, you can immediately outsource.
So yeah, you just outsource it. Okay, great. Tracy says, I'm new to Amazon. I want to know where I can find a sourcing agent in China. Great news. In just the next couple weeks, we are going to give you at least a couple of OMG kind of approved agents that you can test the waters with.
Message me. I can send her.
Yeah. You can also message Liz about that. Okay, Norman, go through this here. Norman says, strategically, when would you try to take Amazon's traffic and redirect it to your own e-com store, or should you just focus all your efforts on driving traffic to your Amazon listings?
So answer for me would be to take their traffic. I do that by using inserts, but really that's about the only way that you can actually do it, at least within their terms of service. And technically, inserts aren't like 100% within their terms of service, so that's the only real way that you can do it. I don't know, John, if you want to add to that or what you do or anything.
I do the same thing, and again, I've gotten a thumbs up from Amazon with my inserts. Okay. I drive them with an offer to register for a free warranty, and that seemed to work pretty good.
Okay, great. All right. Lincoln says, I have a beauty product. Let's see what the rest of this question is. I have a beauty product and having trouble getting it to move faster. We have around 100 reviews, so it's the biggest reason they're not selling more is because the number one guy has a lot more reviews. Suggestions, thank you. No, that's not the reason.
So I think that the number one thing to look at is where does he rank, like in relation to his number one competitor. Because if he's number two, he's not getting any sales, and there's something definitely wrong. So
like it's the wrong product. Like it's just not selling.
It's not converting well, and his competitor is. So it could be a ton of different problems, but that's the first thing that my question for him is: where does he actually rank? So John, what do you?
Yeah. And we may need to wait on Lincoln to update us and just tell us, is he number two and the competitor is number one? Or if you can already answer based on what you see, John, just let us know.
I lost John.
John, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. All right. So anything you want to chime in this moment on this video?
Again, Liz keeps beating me to the punch. But the reviews hasn't, again, without seeing his listing, without seeing the competitor and seeing their listing, I find it, I don't believe it has anything to do with the reviews. It really doesn't. It could have a lot of things. It could be the images. It could be the copy, the title, the bullet points. It's just not driving it to convert. So it's a lot more than reviews.
Well, and it could also be that the competitor ain't making any money either. Keep that in mind. So that's something where we kind of have to have We just need more information.
And the other thing is, like, he's already at 100 reviews, and John and I talked about this a lot during the week. Is like, we feel 100 reviews is like, if you have 100 reviews, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah. What do you need? Yeah. Now, it'd be one thing if you had one review and your opponent, your guy ahead of you has 25. That's a huge difference.
Right.
But in this case, it's not going to be a huge difference. Okay. Tracy says, I have some products that I want to source, but I want to make sure the inventory is in great condition before it goes to Amazon. Yeah, that's a great thing to have a buyer's agent, and also you can use Kevin Jin's service as well, which you found out about last week, River Source Logistics. So you'd want to watch last week's Q&A webinar, or the Q&A webinar from 2 weeks ago.
Also, one other important thing on that is you can also have quality control, quality inspection in China before that happens. So if you have a good agent in China, they can actually do all that.
Okay, great. James says, I found something in my local dollar store. I'm not sure. Decide whether it's a valid retail arbitrage for scaling possibility. It's a toy for $1. Seems to be going for $4 to $5 or on 8-packs. The toy is $30. Again, we're going to get into this. I know it can feel like a little bit frustrating. You want the whole answer right now. I can tell you some of the factors. Bestseller rank is going to be a factor. What category it's actually in. It may be listed in toys. It might actually be listed in something else. But you know, it's very possible that an 8-pack for $30 could be great. This is pretty tight to the bone, $1 for $5.
Yeah. My rule is like, no, it has to be at least $10. The item has to sell for 10. So the 8-pack for 30 looks pretty darn sexy, but what is the BSR?
Yeah, what's the BSR and what category is it in?
It could be 300,000 and then it's a dud.
Yeah. Okay, Laura says it was my UPC. Not sure what that was about, Laura. Let's see.
I think that might have been the hijacker that found it. But yeah, they're still allowed to use it even with your UPC because you don't own the brand.
Okay, great. There are scrapers that search the Amazon API for brand new listings. Okay, great. So Kathy let us know that there are
Kathy
scrapers.
Was the hijacker.
Yeah. All right, Cindy. Of course, we're not always getting to these questions like right in time with what else is going on. So for retail arbitrage, it's better to go with well-known names. Yes. Yes, you're really writing. Hey, Mattson's on.
Fun.
Oh, I got to bring Mattson live. I didn't know Mattson was on.
Fun Mattson's on.
Fun Mattson.
Great.
Mattson's moving to Miami. We're really excited about that. All right, let's make Mattson a panelist. All right.
See if he's still there.
See if Mattson's still there. Let's find out. Hey, Mattson, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Fun Mattson. We're so glad you came out and joined us.
I'm sitting in my car listening to you guys.
Oh, wow.
That's so cool.
We miss you, Mattson.
Yeah, definitely. When's the next time we're going to see you? Are you coming out to Dallas or LA or Vegas?
I'm definitely in Vegas. I'm going to be in China next week, Liz. So I'm going to see you there.
Oh, that's great. I'm pumped now, Mattson.
Tiger prawn.
Hashtag Tiger prawn.
Great. For those of you who haven't met Mattson, Mattson's an OMGer. So really, he and his brother are having huge success on Amazon. And he actually, as we roll out the China documentary that's coming out even in just the next couple weeks, you're going to get to meet with him a little bit more. I actually didn't look and see what your question was, Mattson, because I was just so excited that you're on. Let's see. Oh, you do have a question. Well, do you want to just ask your question live here?
Sure. So, Liz, I actually dipped my toe into arbitrage when I was in Miami. I was at Williams-Sonoma was going out of business in Miami Beach, and so I bought a bunch of stuff on clearance, put it in my suitcase, and flew home, and then got it out, and it was kind of dented. So I'm wondering, can I still sell it on FBA if it's dented, or will they not accept it?
There's actually, I don't know which categories. I think if it's like home and kitchen, there is like, you can ask Susan Ann McDowell, she'll know this. It can be not so, it can be like very good or other shapes. And I know we see this on Profit Bandit. it'll come out VG or other different shapes. So you can sell it for less, but it depends on the category. So if it's like Williams Sonoma, I'm thinking is like home and kitchen. So Susan could probably chime in because she does sell some of her product in some categories. It gets damaged as like new or very good or good, depending on the amount of damage. I'm not sure if she's still on the webinar, but I'm certain that if it's in the home and kitchen, that you can still sell it like that.
I'm still here, and yes, I actually sell a refurbished version of my product under the same ASIN at a lower price.
Right.
So that you can sell it. I think it's very good packaging may be damaged or something. But if you try to sell it as new, you could list it as new, but then you might run into some review issues. And people returning it saying that the condition is not as stated. And if you sell things condition is not as stated, you can have your account pulled. So, Mattson, it's probably better if you set up a new seller account for this kind of retail arbitrage things rather than risk your business, your core business.
Now, Mattson, one thing that you can do is add an insert that says, if this product is damaged, it's Amazon's fault.
Right.
Fully joking, but just point the finger somewhere else. But Mattson, one of the things you can do when you're traveling, if you think that you might come up with some retail arbitrage opportunities, you can ship it in before. All you need to do is bring your Dymo printer with you. So you just have your cell phone, your Dymo printer, and if you're staying at a hotel, you should be able to use.
You actually don't even need a Dymo because you can have Amazon label it for you for 30 cents.
Okay, there you go. So yeah.
I was leaving the next day, and Morgan says, "I'm not shipping your stuff. You have to take it."
we actually got to hang out with Morgan just recently. It's actually the first time I've seen him since Hong Kong. So okay, well that's awesome. Thanks for hanging on, and as we progress with this event, Mattson, if you hear anything that you want to chime in on, just let us know your answer as well.
And we'll see you in China. Fun.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right, great. Got a follow-up question from Jay here. How do we scale up if we have limited funding? Say I only have $10K to order my inventory for my first product with a few variations. I use up all my funds. I need to know what to add more products, but limited by funding. What's your strategy for scale up early stages? Well, we've told you, this. I mean, okay. So John, why don't you fill this one first?
Well, again, I think we really covered that. I mean, I would, I would start, sell your product and then start taking your money and reinvest it back into your business. I don't know what your product costs. I don't know how much 10K is going to get you. If your product's a $2 cost versus a $18 cost, obviously you're going to have less units. And again, I don't know how fast you're going to sell them and what the turnaround time is once you place the order till the time you get it. There's so many variables. Are you bringing it in by ship, which takes 18 to 30 days, or you're doing it express and then paying a lot more? Does your product take 30 days from the time you order it to get it, or does it take 45 to 60 days? There's a lot of variables there, so it's kind of a tough question to answer.
Okay, great, John. Appreciate that. And again, we've already shown, just did a little limited test out here where a couple $100, I think it was a total of $400, was more than enough to get to utterly get you in the game. Where now that 400 is like 1,200, and so with retail arbitrage, it can be a very very low entry point, low barrier to entry where you don't even need thousands of dollars to get started. Adrian says, if you have a product going okay on Amazon, is it a good idea to also list on eBay? Use it fulfillment by Amazon with eBay listing. What's the best practice?
You can. It is an option. I know a lot of people that do it. Also to give them other visibility, and you can also try to rank the eBay listing with SEO.
Yeah.
I've noticed that like a lot of my products are actually on eBay, not by my own doing, but people that actually bought them as a giveaway or got them for free. They'll be reselling it.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't bother me. I know it bothers a lot of people because they're like, oh my God, my product's on eBay, but I feel like it's more brand visibility.
Yeah.
So.
And they're probably more likely. I mean, there's a fair number of people who would just feel like they would just feel better just finding it on Amazon, buying it FBA, than buying it on eBay anyway. So they may spot it on eBay, but wind up coming to your listing.
Right. So I don't really bother with it. I don't know. I don't think John does either, but he can answer
Now,
that.
I've decided not to. I've actually had some decent success on Groupon.
Okay.
Groupon seems to have worked better than eBay.
Okay, great. So that's a tip with Groupon. All right. We've got another question. Do you have 20 different listings for, let's say, 20 different toys that you might have found at Target clearance?
Yeah, you don't need to. The listings are already there. You just scan them in and they come out.
Yeah. Yeah, not only do you not need to make a website with this method, you don't even have to make an Amazon listing. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty crazy. Now, there are some cases where you'll make your own bundles, and that's a great opportunity. We'll cover that. But the basics for getting started, you don't even need your own Amazon listing. Brian says, let's have a look here. When buying an item for a package set, do you find it's better to source all the components together or separately? Does not matter. All right. Okay. This is a pretty broad question. This is from Sonia. I'm about to order my product. How much should I factor in to give away?
John, you want to start that first?
It depends on the competition. The tougher the competition, the more you're going to have to give away. For me personally, I'll give away, again, depending on how competitive the keyword that I'm trying to rank for, I'll give away anywhere from 200 to 500 units.
Same answer pretty much for me. It sort of just depends. It depends on a lot of.
Let me just.
I was just going to finish. It depends on a lot of different factors. More importantly, it's like this is where being in that same niche for quite some time will give you like the exact clues as to how much you have to give away. Because it's, for example, let's say I'm all of a sudden in the knitting niche. So knitting compared to skincare, I'm not just going to go in there and gun 400 units of knitting because I know that knitting like sort of sucks. So a knitting you might be able to get away with giving away 25 to 50. So what I always like to do is like if I don't know the niche that well, like obviously if it's skincare, I'm going to do exactly what John did and just fire away. But if it's something like knitting, which still could be really lucrative, I might start with 25 to 50, see how I move, and then gauge it from there. So for me, it's niche dependent, and I think John did say that. This is where being more familiar with your niche is really important. So John knows his niche already. He knows that this is a competitive niche, and I have to, fire away. Whereas my style is like sort of testing out all these niches, and I'm not necessarily an expert in any of them at that early point. So I sort of have to test it out. So I think Susan wanted to add on to that.
All I was going to say is I had somebody get to number one with only giving away 20, and I've had people give away 200 to 400, and it hasn't even moved the needle.
Right.
So really, you're not going to know until after you order it. If you're in a very competitive niche and you're not ordering at least 1,000, you're not going to have the room to play. You can't order just 200 to 300 of a unit in a competitive niche and think you're going to be able to play with it in terms of testing the waters. So you basically do a giveaway. If it's fairly competitive, you're going to want to do, 50 to 100 to start and see what happens. And if you give away 100 and 100 gets you somewhere on page one, then that's a good number. And you're going to see what happens to the rank. And 4 days to a week later, you're going to do another giveaway, probably of the same amount. And play with it, but you need to order enough that you're going to be able to play with it. Now, if it's a very specialized product, there's not a lot of competition, and it's a little niche, then ordering a small number, small MOQ to just test the waters and see if it sells will make sense. But I see people, and it's really tough because they message me and they ask for help, and they only have 200 to 300 units and want to know what to do. And you don't want to say, gee, I don't know, why you're here. but you can't play in the big competitive niches like skin cream and something if that's all you have. So it's really just like everything else with Amazon. It's about testing, Sonia. And I know you're trying to, set up how many you order, but you need to leave yourself enough to play with. I also don't know if it's something where your supplier's down the street or if it's going to take you 2 months to get resupplied, because that also plays into it, because you don't want to give away 200, get great rank, and then have to start the whole game 2.5 months from now because you've sold out.
Great.
It's complicated.
Great. Dave Keith says, how does working with Amazon differ from eBay? Is there a resource I should read about this? Dave, I'll try to update the blueprint with that information. It's a good question. But it would take a while for me to explain it right now. It's more of a strategic question.
I have something to add on that last question.
Oh, great. Go for it.
You can't do it on your first product, but if you're building a brand like John has, then on your future products, you don't have to give away 500 for free. You can go to your customers and give it away at cost, and so then it doesn't cost you anything to give away that same 500. So that's the benefit of building a brand, is that it's a lot cheaper down the road.
Great, Matson. That's quite a great point. Just in case anybody didn't understand, so the premise there, Matson, then is that you've already built a brand, and you've built a list with that brand, and then you go to introduce a new product, Devil Doggy, dog treats, and then as you introduce that, you can almost like subsidize your start by saying, hey, we're having a promotion to introduce Devil Doggy dog treats. You've already enjoyed Devil Doggy dog biscuits, or exactly. And so because of that, we're gonna let you start off. This is our true cost to it. Instead of paying $12 for this, you're gonna pay $3 for it. And we'd appreciate if you give us a review. And in that way, Matson, you're kind of subsidizing. You're kind of hitting a sweet spot where you're getting that sales volume and the momentum, but you're not losing your shirt. And the reason why you're able to do that is because you have a brand and a relationship with those customers.
Right, and they're paid purchases, so Amazon likes them better, and they don't have to disclose in the review that they got it for free. So it's just better when you can get to that point.
Great, yeah. And again, these are milestones that you can hit as your business grows and as you gain more of an understanding and so forth. So let's see. Got one from. Let's see. This is from Ivan. For us in Europe, can we work the same for Amazon UK, France, Germany? Answer. Yeah, the answer is yes. Laura says, you guys have bought up Inventory Labs a number of times. Any options on Scootify?
I've never used it, so I can't give you my opinion on it. I pretty much only recommend stuff that I've used. I know Ty uses Inventory Lab. I still use Inventory Lab for my retail art stuff. So I can only recommend what I use. But, I mean, like Linda chimed in here, she uses ScanPower. She's like that. I use ScanPower. I didn't like the fact that they forced me to buy a bundled product. So I went with Profit Bandit and Inventory Lab. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good options. Same thing with repricers. I use App Eagle, but there's a lot of repricers. So you sort of have to test it on your own and see if it fits and works for you.
Or you can just do what Liz tells you to do. Okay, this is William, I believe. Are there any good reference books for retail arbitrage? We don't really feel like you're going to get as good at information as Liz is about to share with you, so I would just wait. Let's see. That one. Maria says, what categories do you try to avoid? Great. A lot of great product getting questions here.
I think that you just have to sort of specialize in a couple. So usually I go for the categories that are open. If I'm a beginner, I go for like health, which I think are open. I'm trying to think of something else that's open. Toys is open. I can't remember what right off the top of my head. Home kitchen is open. Um, garden, patio, stuff like that's open. So I would immediately go for the ones that are open and then work from there. If I start to have success in that, which you will if you follow by going scanning and doing all this stuff, then okay, this is a second to mute background noise. Okay, so go for categories like decide to specialize in one category. So when I first started, it was toys. I specialized in toys, and I got so good at toys, and then I decided, okay, now I want to specialize in beauty. So then I went into beauty and tried to get good at that. Same thing with that went for like specializing in one store. So what I would avoid is any gated categories right now. Start getting your feet wet and selling products that are not gated, and then worry about gated categories and getting into those because you can actually do that pretty easily.
Okay, great. John or Masson, do you guys have any further thoughts on that? And you may or may not.
For me, I look a lot at the competition. And we kind of touched on it when it came to launching a product into giveaways. I like to, I personally stay away from those super competitive because it's a bigger barrier to entry. You're going to have to give away more products. You're going to need more reviews just to compete. And I also, God, I got to be careful how I say this. Now at this stage, I don't look so much at categories as I do products. And what I do is I stay away from what I call as ASM products. There's a certain group of products it seems like all the ASMers go after. Those are the products. So I categorize a product now as a ASM versus a non-ASM product. And I'm picking what I define as a non-ASM product. But again, I do look at the competition, and if I feel that I can confidently crush the competition, that's what I'm going after.
John actually, I believe, certainly was answering from a standpoint of what to do about private label products. Liz happened to be answering about retail arbitrage, but this is great because it kind of teases out the difference. Because Liz, you actually love going after just ruthless, cutthroat, difficult in retail arbitrage. It's almost like the more competitive is the better.
Absolutely.
But you feel the same about John, where once you're into private label, it's flipping the script, and you're going to be more strategic and angling in on niches. You had the great example in your in your product sourcing thing where you had one product that goes great for adults, but it was almost competitive. Whereas if you could do that same product for kids, then boom,
a huge winner.
And the funny thing was that Air actually spotted something that was also for kids, same thing, but it was for like multiple kids. So anyways, all right, so great. Mattson, did you have anything to add on things that you like to go after or avoid?
I always teach people that ask me that, just similar to what John said. Stay away from anything that already has a bunch of ASM people, because they know the same thing you know, but they've got a head start on you, so it's going to be that much harder work to try and pass them. Go to a blue ocean where nobody is doing the same product, and you'll rank so much faster with that type of product. But it is getting harder to find, so you have to look a little harder.
Okay, great. And again, so that's the neat thing, that strategic. A lot, Greg Morrison just put out some killer stuff for us on how to go after affiliate, competitive stuff. And Greg can rank for e-cigarette review. I mean, he can just rank for anything he wants to, but he makes a ton of money. Even whereas a lot of people are going after best e-cigarette review. He might, go a little bit further down the line. What I'm talking about is keywords. He'll go further down the line to something where there's just not as much competition. It's literally very, very easy for him. Something like, if it was the, sketchbooks, the Strathmore Drawing Sketchbooks, if he's an affiliate for that on Amazon, he might say Strathmore Drawing, coupon codes or something like that, and it's just going to be like less competitive. But he'll make as many sales. What Liz and John and Mattson are commonality wise when it comes to private label products is they're looking for something where there's a robust interest from customers, but not a huge cutthroat competition. And if you go through Liz's videos, you're going to find out a lot more about that. So, it's simply a great answer from Liz, John, and from Mattson on that. James is giving us more information about this product that he's thinking about going after when it comes to retail arbitrage, and it's 121,000 is the BSR in toys and games.
So typically, if that was like during Christmas season, I would go for it.
Right.
During not Christmas season, I tend to avoid toys over like 80,000 BSR. That's only because they're not going to turn that fast. So it really comes down to the number of competitors and how deep my bankroll is. If I want to look at it as a little bit longer term investment, then I definitely might try some. I'm never going to go deep in that instance. So I might try a couple and then see how well they do. We might be surprised that if he sends it in and there's no other FBA sellers and it sells right away. In that instance, I would go and immediately buy a lot.
Yeah, that's also another factor. If there is no FBA sellers, that's a great thing. Also, if Amazon is competing for that product, avoid, unless it's maybe during Christmas. And you think that Amazon might run out, which I learned from Liz. It's not me being brilliant. All right, JR says, prior to you guys doing the Amazon thing, I tried to do retail arbitrage by going to Target and Walmart and checking out the clearance stuff and never found good enough deals. Would you suggest looking at? Yeah, I mean,
the clearance stuff sucks at Target and Walmart usually, unless it's the toy that starts in July. But as you saw today, Mike, we went into Big Lots and looked at regular prices.
Yeah, just straight up. And we just so you know, guys, we weren't even there very long. We actually needed to get
an hour tops, but our phone had such bad reception that we were standing there a lot just waiting for it.
Yeah, we literally just didn't spend very much time at all. Actually, we're going back out in a little while when this webinar wraps up shortly here. But no, we just weren't out very long, and we found a couple of winners right away. I mean, not right away. We scanned a few items and then found some winners. Blah, blah, blah. So avoid, just be cautious about clearance stuff. Are there any more dates? Oh, this is a great question. It's a great question. We were actually working on this last night. It's one of the reasons why we're at Club Cotton right now at the Club Cotton Command Center. Are there any more dates scheduled after Las Vegas, LA, and Dallas? We're not scheduled, but I will tell you, we on the chopping board right now, on the discussion board, we are discussing Scottsdale in late July, early August. We are discussing
Miami for sure.
Miami is definitely on the books. We don't know the date for it. I think Cotton heard us talking about it, so he's making his move over here. Cotton, we had a great question here from Maura about the assimilation tour. And by the way, everybody give us a hashtag Cotton for coming up with this awesome assimilation tour. We already heard that Mattson's going to join us in Vegas. Me and Liz are in for all of them. What's our? Do we have a finalized next date?
I think our next date, we don't have a set date on it. It's probably going to be Phoenix, Scottsdale.
Scottsdale, yeah.
And then they'll probably be tentatively. You and I have discussed New York, Chicago, Miami, and then that's about as far as we went so far.
Yeah.
Maybe New Orleans with that date that we
discussed. There are rumors that New Orleans might be in the mix later in the year, and there's also been discussion. We've had a lot of people asking us for a UK date. No, we have no word on that yet, but we are listening to you. We are definitely listening to you. Okay, we got a great question for John and Liz. What type of financial relationship would you want to set up with somebody who's willing to be the money man for my new private label brands who wouldn't be involved otherwise? John?
Oh, well,
yeah, John.
I think that would be a private conversation.
Okay, so
I think there's a lot of factors in there that need to be discussed.
Okay, got it. All right. So
I mean, I
yep.
because we have, and Liz and I have done this as well, partnered, is that we've structured, I probably got about 6 partnerships right now, and every single one of them is structured differently. So that's something that would be more of a, part of a one-on-one private conversation to get more details.
Okay, so if you want more information, then I'd suggest just go ahead and message John, whoever that was, Brian. The next question, how do you protect your inventory when you're doing giveaways? I think that's pretty basic, but John, you want to go ahead and cover that?
Yeah, the best way to do it, I mean, there's several ways. What I do now is I use single-use coupons. So that means that there's no worries of someone posting your coupon on Slick Deals or Dan's Deals, and you blow through your inventory in 20 minutes. And if you're not using single-use coupons, where there's actually no reason why you shouldn't be, there's a way to protect your inventory where you can say, for example, that you're looking to give away 50 units today. What I would do is I would look at what your FBA inventory is, and then I would pull out, it's called reserve all but, let's say, 60 units. So you got 50 to give away and 10 to sell. And then when the day is over, and tomorrow, again, because when I do giveaways, I don't do them in one shot. I don't do them in one day. I stagger them over a 4 to 6 day period of time. So, and then I grow that from day 1 to day 6. So I give away more on day 6 than I do on day 1. So I'm just releasing more and more inventory every day so that it's protected. But the best way is single-use coupons.
Okay, great.
Can I just make one comment about that with the single-use coupons?
Yep.
That single-use coupons are great unless you are releasing a lot of single-use coupon codes at the same time, because there are several networks of like formal hijackers who have been able to re-engineer, because the single-use coupon code is based off a master. So if they get their hands on multiple single-use coupon codes, they can track it back to the master. So if you're using single-use coupon codes in a large quantity, releasing a large quantity to a number of people at the same time, you still need to protect your inventory. Because if one of these groups gets a hold of 3 of them, they run them through their algorithm, and bam, they have your master code, and you'll wind up selling out your inventory. So you still need to protect it if you are releasing several single-use coupon codes in a group.
All right, great. So let's see. Maria says, do you create a new website every time you test out a new niche, or do you want to see if you have something successful first? I would definitely wait till you had something successful.
I wait too.
Yeah.
That's just me, but I know there's, like, Mike Fittler usually creates a website and he goes gung-ho, so there's different ways to do things.
Yeah.
I prefer to wait, but.
Now, and John, you actually did create a new website for your for some of your new stuff coming out. So you actually, but then again, you're coming in with a lot of confidence it's going to be successful.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing too is I'm in a different position now, so I'm confident in these new niches, and I'm coming out balls to the wall. So I'm not dipping my toe in the pool, and I'm pretty confident what the results are going to be. So, but to answer their question, I agree with Liz. I would wait. Test the waters, see how the product goes, see if it's something that, if you're going to create a brand or a niche out of it, or is it just going to be a one-time product. I would wait, get it out, and see how it does first.
Okay, great. All right. Lincoln said, oh, sorry.
One comment there.
Yep.
Real quick, sorry. If you're building a brand, then I would at least buy the domain to protect it for $10, and then wait to build a website till you decide that you're going to do a long-term commitment.
Sure. Yeah. Getting the .com there can be smart. I don't get too crazy unless you have a big bankroll. I wouldn't bother with a .net or .org. But getting the .com is certainly valid on, for your new brand. That's a great point there. Mattson, good middle ground there. All right, Lincoln has a follow up on when he was saying, so he was number 2, the other guy was number 1, and we were trying to get some more information. Lincoln said we were at 25,000 BSR, then changed some wording and quit and dropped way down. The number 1 guy is around 400 BSR. So first of all, why didn't you change your wording back? I guess would be the.
Well, and number 2 is, I'm guessing he was number 2, but that's still a pretty big
disparity.
Yeah, and him being 400 and then him being 25,000, that kind of scares me. Like, what is everything else? So the 400 BSR might have the market totally dominated. It might be like a blender bottle, and he's trying to do a knockoff blender bottle, which I don't know. The little ball might have a patent. He might have problems in the future, but I'm just saying that's a huge disparity in the numbers.
Yeah, again, we're winding up, I think, with not enough information to help you.
Right, and I would say change the wording back.
Yeah, definitely change that wording back.
He was selling good enough at 25,000.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the reason for the difference that you asked us before, the reason is his BSR is way higher and yours is monumentally lower. You're at 25,000 on a private label product. You're just way down there. You're not getting enough traffic, and with private label products, your conversion is just not going to be as high as so yeah. So basically, that's the answer on that. Jorge, let's see what we got here.
We met Jorge in Florida.
Yep, we did. Jorge, I give away a little when I want reviews, and I give away a lot when I want more BSR. Yep, great point. All right, Tracy. Let's see what we got here. Also, I'm interested in sourcing beauty items such as hair care, lotions, potions. Like love potions? Tracy, what kind of potions? Flight potions? Just to let us know, because I want to buy some too. That sounds great. Do you have a list of credible U.S. suppliers that you would recommend?
I usually I've got a couple, so if you want to message me in private, I'll recommend a few. There's a lot of different ones that might be more expensive based off of turnaround time and things like that. But it really depends on what you're looking for, because there's several. And usually the way I just search for them is by looking up whatever I want a private label, love potion, private label.
Yeah.
And then I search through them and I, call them up, look through their website, see what sound, talk to them on the phone, see if they sound credible or how long their turnaround time is, things like that.
Yeah. Laura wants to know Vegas is July 18th for sure. Actually, I think we're going to do that Saturday. I'm going to talk to Jason Fladley about it a little bit. It looks like it's going to be 18th. So it does look like it's going to be the 18th. And then LA will be the 11th. And Dallas is coming up just next week, and it is going to be an absolute barn burner. Give us a hashtag Dallas if you already know that you're coming out to join us in Dallas. Give us hashtag Vegas if you're coming out to Vegas, and give us a hashtag LA if you're going to join us in LA. We really want to know. Brian.
Yeah, hashtag cotton.
And make sure to get some hashtag cottons in here. I actually have to check that. Let's see what's going on with this thing. So let's check on the shenanigans going on in the Facebook group. Let's see what we got here. Got to refresh it here. Our last thing was transparency. Let's see what's going on. Got some Amazon, some tour. Got some hashtag cottons in there. Good. I like seeing some hashtag cottons. Just do something, some transparency. I don't know. I feel like I need a lot more just more hashtags here. I just feel like just stuff needs to be going on. Now I know I'm going to be in Vegas. And let's see. Now I can't type. Now I asked for all these messages. Now I can't type. So I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm going to be in LA. And I'm definitely going to be in Dallas. Oh, yeah. That's right. How many people are already knowing that they are going to join us for OMG Live Nashville? That's in November. That's the second weekend in November. Hashtag OMG Live Nashville. If you already know you're going to join us for OMG Live Nashville, let us know. That is going to be an absolute epic event. Cotton's going to be there. Liz is going to be there. Looks like Susan Amidal is going to be there. Tony Moore is going to be there. Ivan's going to be there. This is going to be exciting, guys. Yeah, got a lot of action. Susan's joining us in Vegas. Got Troy's going to be in Vegas, LA, and Scottsdale. Kathy Ann Bates is down for OMG Live Nashville, Cotton. So we got some surefire action going on here. It's going to be
We keep getting this question a lot.
David Fripp and John Gill's going to be on OMG Live Nashville.
I think it would be good for you to explain it. People want to know generally what's the difference between Assimilation Live and OMG Live.
Okay, that's a great question. Well, Assimilation Live, it's kind of a combination thing, and we try to get to every question every time. This may be one of the exceptions, just because we're going to have to head out to Disney before too long, because we're going to be doing some stuff out there. But maybe what I'm going to do is somewhat close out the event and explain the difference between Assimilation Live and OMG Live Nashville. First of all, Assimilation is based on, it's something that Cotton came up with. He concocted it from the beginning, and he told me and Liz about it. We were literally so impressed and so amazed with it, and so many other OMGers have agreed with us that we're going to do it. So we're taking Assimilation Live is where we're going for one day, one evening, usually starting around 7:30 p.m. in that given city, and just getting together for networking and a little bit of soapboxing. So OMG's always been a city on a hill. Now OMG is going to be kind of like a party on a hill, and we did our first pre-kickoff event in Orlando. It was wonderful. It was just a joy, where people were coming together and meeting each other, and making some deals and making some new relationships, and we were finding out where the money's being made and so forth. And some people were soapboxing. Cotton was explaining the moves that he's making right now in his business, the direction he's going. Liz is doing the same thing. Stephen Floyd went completely berserk, and he gave like a 3-hour symposium. It was so there's some networking and some soapboxing. What OMG Live Nashville is 4 days. It starts on Friday night, then it goes all Saturday, all Sunday, and then extends into Monday, with probably a little bit of pregame on Thursday and a little postgame on Monday. There is still that social component with, the same thing that you're going to see to a much higher degree at Assimilation Live, where you're going to have the networking and soapboxing after hours. But what you're going to have during the sessions is nothing. Well, I mean, really, this is really where Cotton and David Mills have just gotten together, and they have a little conspiracy, and their plan is that like every 5 minutes, a bomb drops that just explodes your bank account. The fundamental idea behind it is that you double your income. And that means that if you're at $5,000 a month, we want you to hit $10,000 a month. If you're at $50,000 a month, we want you to hit $100,000 a month. Now, you might say to me, well, what if I'm not making any money yet? This is not going to be positioned for beginners. That doesn't mean that as a beginner that you can't massively benefit from it. And what we're going to be doing is showing actionable strategies. What it is we get approached by a lot of people, and we work with a lot of people who are not members of our OMG coaching team, who are extraordinarily powerful. We join forces with them all the time. We make deals and we build businesses and do tests with OMGers all the time, where we don't own that data. Okay, we don't own the data just because we did a test with Tim Schmidt, or Derek Owasiak, or somebody else who you may never literally have even heard of. We can't just stick that content into the OMG members area because we don't own it. But once a year, we're usually able to twist enough arms and get enough stuff out where we can show it in a non-recorded, non-disclosure environment. And that winds up having a great benefit to OMGers. For example, if it weren't for OMG Live Nashville this year, we most certainly would not be able to do the Assimilation Live tour. So that's incredible. And you're going to be able to get some amount of additional content, tips, and hints in your members areas that are going to also be a benefit. So as always with OMG, everybody wins whenever we do something. That said, if you are at all on the fence about coming out to OMG Live Nashville, I will drop a link into the members box. It is currently OMGers only. We expect it'll probably sell out while it is OMGer only. But the way you'll get your tickets is to go to omgmachines.com/live.php. This event is it's without a doubt a $15,000 mastermind, OMG style. However, we don't charge anywhere near $15,000 for it. But you're going to get that value again and again, over and over again. So you'll get in there and check out, and you can just guarantee that if we're putting out just the same with our coaching is essentially $100,000 coaching, and you're getting it for just a tiny fraction. Whereas if, like, for example, if maybe Liz and John were to go crazy and put together like maybe a mastermind in China or something like that, then no doubt it would be worth $50,000 or more to attend. They may not charge that, although it would be without a doubt worth it. So that's kind of how we work the pricing with things, just to give you a little hint as what to come in the future. So anyways, that's a little bit more about how things work with OMG Live Nashville and the Assimilation Tour. Really had a lot of fun on this event. Could we have everybody thank John Gill for coming and joining us, answering a lot of great questions here. He actually met with Liz for like a long time this last week, came out, met up with me and Cotton and Mike Bittler. I want to thank John Gill for joining us on this event.
The pleasure was mine. It was a true honor.
Yeah, we love having you involved with OMG, John. It's really great. Also want to thank Susan Ann McDowell. She jumped in. Every time she jumps on one of these events, she's such an ace. She has so much, almost nobody has as much experience as she does when it comes to giveaways and moving the needle with that. So we're getting that as an incredible resource. Plus, she can help you with her giveaway with her service, which is amazing. She's doing that for OMGers for free. I also want to thank Matson.
Definitely.
We want to thank Fun Matson.
I'm excited he's going to China.
Yeah, let's break John Gill's phone. Let's break Fun Matson's phone. Let's break Susan McDowell's phone. Let's literally tag them so many times that their phones break, because they probably need new phones anyways. If you think about it.
We should break Morgan's phone.
Let's break Morgan's phone.
Yeah,
is Morgan actually in the Facebook group? I gotta add. Give me a second. I'm going to add Morgan, see if we can break his phone as well. So he's wondering why on earth he's getting tagged in thing after thing.
I'm sure Matson will enjoy that. We break Morgan's phone. Just to get him back for not shipping Matson's stuff.
Yeah, let's get everybody. We still have almost 150 people live here today. Let's get everybody to say what up, Morgan Magleby. And we had a lot of questions, by the way. Fact or fiction. We're gonna pull from this week's Assimilation Tour. Fact or fiction. We'll see if Matson can answer this. Fact or fiction. Morgan and Matson Magleby are actually characters from the Harry Potter book and were invented by K.R. Rowling. Fact or fiction? Let's get you guys before they answer, before Matson answers. Give me fact or fiction. I say #fact. I say no, guys. You can't say #what's up, Morgan, because that won't tag Morgan. You actually have to say Morgan's name to really make things very confusing for him. Whereas he's wondering why he's getting tagged right and left in the. Okay, so let's get fact or fiction. So Chuck says it's a fact. I say it's a fact. Ivan says it's a fact. We're 3 for 3 on it being for a fact. Let's see. Does anyone else want to weigh in before Matson? Lets us know what the answer is. So Matson, were you indeed, you and your brother indeed fictionally engineered by K.R. Rowling? Are you actually members of? Did you go to Hogwarts? What's the deal? J.K. Rowling. Sorry, J.K. Didn't mean to offend. All right. So what's?
I heard in Chicago we became one person known as Mason.
No, dude. Here's what happened. There was alcohol involved. You cannot blame gin for that. That is so unfair.
The next day you still call me.
I know, that's true. That's true. All right. But that's not an answer. So are you a Harry Potter character or are you not? We want to know the truth.
It's true.
It is true. See, fact. Now you guys all know. All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you. We really had a lot of fun on this event. Of course, as always, let's thank Elizabeth Herrera, Liz, Danger Girl, for just coming in and putting this whole thing together and just making this whole mayhem happen. You know, it's all our fault that all this action is going on, and we're having a heck of a lot of fun. Here. So thanks everybody for coming out and joining us. It was an excellent event. I've gotten lots of thank yous for this event. Hope you got your best questions answered. If you didn't get your biggest questions answered, head over to the OMG Amazon Plus community Facebook group. You can post your questions in there, and we will try to get them answered. There's a bunch of people making 5 and 6 figures per month on Amazon in that group, who are helping you understand what the answers are to your biggest questions. One of the underground valuable groups in the entire world of internet marketing, even though it's only an OMG subgroup. So anyways, thanks everybody very much for joining us. We are actually going to head back out. We've got our cell phones, and we're getting ready to scam. We're getting ready to head right back out and do some retail arbitrage. I've got my second iPhone, so I can record infield footage. It's going to literally be very, very exciting. And I want to once again thank John Gill. I want to thank Susan Ann McDowell. Thank Matson, and I want to thank Colin Klinkert. And I'll thank Mason too. Their third brother who got I think he joined House Slytherin, so that's why nobody talks about him. All right, guys, have a good day.
Have a good one.
Yeah,